Today's Thursday, and we've got some whales to look at. We've got some weather to talk about. We've got the Labor Day weekend coming up. We've got temperatures that are trending down, which is going to be very helpful for fire danger over the next couple days, right into early next week, and then it heats up again. It's September, or coming into September now, so it's that time of year where fire danger really ramps up. The big heat is not going to be as big an issue because your days are getting shorter, sun angles changing, but dry fuels and the potential for Diablo winds all through September, all through October, and even into November, as we've seen in the past. These killer whales, okay, first thing I want to talk about is weather. It's going to be a great holiday weekend. We're going to get to all the specifics on weather. I want to talk about these killer whales. A couple days ago, they've been down in Monterey Bay for a few days. Young juvenile killer whales. This is taken by GoWhales.com, the Monterey Bay Whale Watch folks. And I just love this. First of all, drones are awesome, because without drones, you wouldn't have this video. I believe this is being taken, would be a low-flying helicopter, but I believe that's drone activity. But killer whales, you didn't see them. And I was thinking about this the other day. My grandfather, who survived the 1906 earthquake, he's not alive anymore, but he lived to be in his 90s. So I talked to him when I was a young man. And he used to talk about, well, you know, these sort of legendary animals like killer whales and, you know, bald eagles and mountain lions and bears in Marin. There was such an annihilation of wildlife in California because California is the most manipulated, engineered place in the world. Right? Logging, strip mining, water use in terms of digging ditches, putting in reservoirs. It's the most manipulated landscape in the world. So this all kind of occurred, gold rush, certainly into the 60s with the Bureau of Reclamation's Central Valley project. So all these things happened, and it just threw wildlife out of whack, just screwed them up. And so it's taken all these years, but I do believe things are getting better. We're seeing killer whales. I'm seeing humpback whales, gray whales. I'm seeing more whales than I've ever seen. Guys, because I've been in the ocean so much in my life, like days, especially when I was young, every day. And you didn't see whales that much, especially back in the 80s. You would, but not like now. Not like now at all. You didn't see dolphins. I'd never even seen a dolphin until 15 years ago up here. And the dolphins that come to Ocean Beach now are a regular thing. So in the old days, Grandpa was like, oh yeah, we'd have all these, you know, I saw a bald eagle once up in Alaska. And it was like, they're coming back, and all this stuff's coming back. And it's really encouraging from my point of view as a father who has kids, that, this is what California is, are these pictures of these whales and this ecosystem and the beauty, what they're doing up in the Klamath River right now, pulling out those dams is awesome. So I guess what I'm getting at is, I know what I'm getting at. Thanks for bearing with me. The whale activity, all the stuff that's going on, that's a good thing. But what's happened is the anchovies are proliferating right now. Anchovies usually run a little further offshore in the winter and fall and spring. This time of year, the anchovies come in close. And the anchovy runs get big or they get small. And they can last for 5 years small or 5 years large, right? So right now, we're seeing an anchovy run like I've never seen outside of 1982. And again, I'm not a fisherman. Those guys are more tapped in. But the anchovies are prolific. And I believe that's what's bringing these whales in. I believe that's why we're seeing so many humpbacks out in Pacifica as well. So that's a lot about a lot. That's a whale. This is the forecast. This is tomorrow. Thanks for bearing with me on that. But we live in such a beautiful, beautiful place. And when I see things like that, and it just makes me happy. I wish Grandpa was around to see it. And my dad's around. He's 97. And he's seeing things that he's never seen before, at least firsthand. Okay, so these are the forecast highs for today. They'll generally trend down. But you can see Concord at 91, Livermore at 91, San Jose at 85. Very, very pleasant day. Central Valley, low 100s, Red Bluff, Redding, Chico 98. Paradise gets up to 90, 101 in Fresno. These are the forecast highs for today. Tomorrow's highs will be cooler. And you can see that trend. I got the arrows pointing down because it's generally going to be a little cooler each day. And then it accelerates the cooling Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. as what I'm going to show you, this low pressure comes in. So Labor Day weekend looks great, but the thing I would point out for Labor Day is think about barbecues and such, because anywhere in the Bay Area, it's going to be chilly at night. It just is. The marine layer, which you're going to see, is super deep, and it wants to say super deep. I mean, it's going to be nice. It's just not going to be barbecuing out of Chrissy Field. You can, but you're going to be wearing a puffy. So there you go. Okay, so that's the weather in a nutshell. Talked a lot about whales. Going to talk a little bit more in depth about weather. Here is a live picture. Love this shot. This is from Mount Tamalpais. We looked at it yesterday. You can see a lot. I can't see. Yesterday we could see Sutro Tower. I guess we're at the bad angle now. But here's Mill Valley down in here. That's why they call it a valley. This is from the top of Mount Tam. And you can see the marine layer is deep enough. Mount Tam's over 2,300 feet, 2,300 feet over that. So the fog's coming up on that. And by tomorrow, the fog will be up over this vantage point. And that is allowing this fog to go well inland into the inland bay valleys. And so you can see that based on this satellite image. This was taken a little while ago, but there's the morning fog. Look at that push. It's going through the gate, but it's also getting over the headlands. It's also getting out over Montera Mountain, and it's getting up into the Napa Valley, at least the cooling areas. And by tomorrow and the next day, that cool air is going to get into the Central Valley and really start to cool folks off even more. So here's the profiler. Remember this little guy. It's linked on my page. But the profiler, let me get some coffee. It's an acoustic profiler, so it does this move where it sends sound waves up and bounces off the atmosphere and determines, kind of like, I assume it's a little bit like a Doppler shift in determining what you're looking at. Is it warm air or cold air? And so the cooler air is represented by this blue, and everything under here is cool. Everything above it, that red's obviously warmer. So when that division of the two, right here, the division of that's essentially the inversion, because it's warm air on top of cold air. So yesterday, down to, what is that, 1,000 feet? Pretty warm yesterday. Look what's happening today. As of last night, it's up to over 2,000 feet, or about 2,000 feet, which makes sense if you think about the Mount Tam we were just looking at. So up over 2,000 feet. And that pattern is going to stick. So why do I look at the forward profile? Because I always talk about thin marine layer hot, like over here, deeper marine layer cool, like over here, or like where we are now, cooler, and that's what we've got. So with that moving forward, we should expect better air quality, and I think we do have that. Let's see if I can pop this in for you. Yeah, there's some yellows out there, but it's really a very, very good air quality day, and it will continue to be. Sacramento Valley, there's a little smoke showing up down from a fire down further south, down in this area. And you can see up in the foothills. But in terms of fire smoke, we're really getting a nice little break. I put this picture in. This is a still. And we can do this, which I think works better for me to show you. So here is California. And then you see that bullseye. This is vorticity, 500 millibar vorticity. It's up about halfway through the atmosphere, higher up about where the jet stream is this time of year. And there is the low right in there. And that low has some wind shear with it, and that's what vorticity is. And wind shear would represent instability because it's rotation. It's just rotating counterclockwise, and so is the shear. So the air starts to rise. Don't want to get into all that, but that is on Sunday, Monday. So that pattern, when I look at that, if that happens, this model saying Sunday, Monday, Labor Day, the day before Labor Day and Labor Day, that would be sprinkles or drizzle up around Crescent City, but that would most certainly be that deepened marine layer for us. So the deepened marine layer, there's San Francisco's Ocean Beach. Winds are slightly onshore. Temperatures are mostly in the 50s. And then you can see Steamer's Lane, and this goes back to the birds. Remember we were talking about the anchovy run? Look at the birds right there. You can see them pretty much all over the place. Birds out on Seal Rock, a couple surfers in the water, a couple birds here. So very active marine life, and that is a function of anchovies. And when you spend a lot of time in the ocean, and I bet you do, when you spend a lot of time in the ocean, you realize, oh my gosh, when you see the birds, you got bait fish, and bait fish are numerous right now because the anchovies are close to shore, and the pack of anchovies, there's a name for it when they get really big. It's really big right now, and it could last 5 to 10 years, which would set us up with potential awesome sea life increases, for us viewing and for them as well, the next couple years, I hope. So here is Lindemar, and it's interesting, right? Lindemar faces a little south, so it's foggy just offshore off Pedro Point, but inside the cove, it's sunny. So Pacific is very unique that way. Okay, that's all I got for you, but I just wanted to share little bits and nuggets. I hope you have a good day. I really appreciate those of you who stick around and watch or listen. A lot of this stuff is linked to my YouTube page, so you can access this. And again, we live in our homes. We all love this place we call California, in Northern California especially. And if you can't get out, you can go to the live cameras, you can look at the weather, and you can be a part of it anyway. If let's say you're sick, or let's say you can't get out because you're working, you can pull this up on your computer and